Happy New Year and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my first installment of my new series, Ask Miss Lala, for the new year. I'm just getting started on this, so I'm just going to jump right in with you all's questions. The first question I received, Miss Lala, do you have any hair goals for 2014? In terms of length, I'm not trying to grow it any longer, really. I'm pretty happy with where it is. I might want to even it up some. I have a couple areas that are a little shorter, and then for those of y'all who follow me, you know I experienced some breakage, so I am trying to grow those areas out. It actually is growing in pretty nicely because at least it will lay down. Now, before those areas will just kind of stick out really, really bad. So I can wear my braid outs and twist outs again because those areas at least can blend in now. So I want to just have healthy hair, have the healthiest ends possible, kind of even up my hair, some of those sections that have broken off. Those are pretty much my goals. Another question I got from one of my subscribers was to give recommendations for hairstyles for those with hair that is neckline length or shorter who don't want to manipulate their hair all of the time. And she specifically asked about not wanting to wear a twist and what do I think about weaves. Well, I'll start with the weaves because that's the easiest part to answer. I personally don't have a problem with weave. I wore braids to grow my hair out quite a bit. When I first did my big chop and was growing my hair out, I wore braids until my hair was at least a couple of inches long and I was able to style it. So I don't have a problem with weaves. Now, I've never had like a sew-in or full weave, so I can't comment on how that would personally impact my hair, but I have seen people get great results with wearing weaves and growing their hair out. I think it just has to be installed properly, and you still have to take care of your hair even though it's in that weave. I think that's the big part. One thing that I have used to help aid in my hair growth are quick weaves or half wigs, and full wigs even. I like that because I still can actually take that off in the evening and condition my hair, moisturize it, and do what I need to do. So one thing I can recommend is that as an option because you're still able to properly care for your hair. Underneath, you probably don't get that same finished look that you might like with the sew-in, but it is an option. So personally, I don't have a problem with weaves. I try to find ones that are as close to my texture as possible. And since you asked the question, I'm even going to post some tips on things I used to do to try and get the weave to look as natural as possible. And you can go to my website for more on that. Now, styles that I would wear with my hair was that length. I actually didn't wear twists much until my hair got to be closer to shoulder length because with shrinkage, my twist would come up to about a little below my ear, even though my hair was probably about to my shoulders. So before my hair got that long, I wore comb coils quite a bit. That was one of my favorite styles to wear, and I would say it would last me maybe 4 days or so. If your hair is really thick, they can take a while to do, but I like the style, and personally, I used to like to put the coils in and then undo them. I used gel, then I would undo the coils, and I would have a nice curly afro look. Another style that I wore quite a bit was, I wore all curly styles, rod sets and roller sets, just to have a more fluffier curly type afro look without having to constantly wet my hair daily. Because with the wash and go, just unmanipulated fro, I had to wet my hair pretty much every day to get it to look decent. Personally, I like to use flexi rods because it allows you to pull your hair tighter, and this was the size I used to use. I never do this now. It takes too long for my hair to dry, and I just hate sitting through all of that. So I don't do it anymore. So I basically just have these laying around. But this is the size I would recommend for that length of hair. Unless you want a more stretched out look, you could go bigger. And then this size or smaller with perm rods. And if you use these perm rods, you really need to make sure, I thought I had end papers, but make sure you get end papers as well and wrap them around the roller. Now, my personal recommendation for setting would be to get a decent quality gel. Now I like Eco Styler gel. Back then I wasn't familiar with Eco Styler, and I honestly can't remember what gel I was using. I probably was still using that brown gel, some cheap gel, but I would recommend gel, probably one that won't harden your hair too much. But my personal favorite setting lotion, and I have a hard time finding it sometimes, but it's this Hindu Sheen 5-minute curl set. Now, my mom introduced me to this. It does have mineral oil in it, so if you're trying to stay away from mineral oil, I wouldn't suggest it. But since I'm only using it as a setting lotion, I don't have a problem with it. I use this. It's concentrated, so you add a little bit of water to it. Or if you're using it on straight hair, when I've straightened my hair, I've actually used it straight and not had any reversion from it. But if you're working just with your natural hair, you take this, add a little bit of water to it, and use it on your hair. And I find that it sets my hair really tightly, and my curls last for a long time. I've used this on everything from my roller sets to band 2 knots, and I still even use it on my hair at this length sometimes just to hold my hair. So again, that's Hindu Sheen 5-minute curl set. It's personally my favorite setting lotion. I find that it doesn't dry my hair out. Or I know some people don't need setting lotion at all, but that's just my recommendation. So once again, my suggestion to you would just be to try different curly sets and use accessories, as well as, maybe adding in some flat twists to, change up the look of the style somewhat. And that way you don't have to manipulate your hair every day. You can just tie it up with a satin scarf or wear a bonnet to try and preserve your style. Now, at that length, I would say most of my styles probably lasted a max of maybe 4 days. I wasn't getting a whole week out of most of those styles unless you do the coils. You can wear the coils for a couple of days and then wear the coil out for several days. But most of the styles at that length, I probably could get a good 3 to 4 days out of it. Out of your tight rod set, maybe a little longer. So those would be my suggestions. If you have any further questions about styles for that length of hair, if you don't feel like I fully answered it to the person who asked me, please feel free to hit me up on my Facebook or by email. And thank you so much for watching this video.